Hello, 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 everybody. Thanks for those that can join us live. Hello, Carol. Hello, Lisa. Hello, everybody else who is listening back on the replay and on the recording. I am Michelle Holling-Brooks. I'm the creator of the Sacred Witness Oracle and the founder of Unbridled Change. And I'm super excited to be bringing you our kind of April reading and forecast for what you might be able to work on and to partner with this month. Feeling into kind of what are the different things that are up this month and working with it. We are in that springtime in the Northern Hemisphere, the fall time moving into that in the Southern. And, that's really about reflection and renewal, allowing ourselves to kind of witness and see what from the previous season that we have carried with us that it's time to release and let go of. And then what do we want to allow to come in a new way to experience and that beautiful kind of renewal energy, which might even be something familiar, something that we've been working on, but allowing ourselves to interact with that in a new way and even give birth to things that we might not know what that will look like or what that will turn in, but really surrendering that stranglehold that sometimes we just put on the growth process of bringing in the fear of what if it fails? What if it succeeds? Oh, that's a problem too. What if I can't do it? What will people say? All of those different hidden kind of what ifs that are conditioned into us. And what if, though, on a positive side, we can release that and let go and allow ourselves to open up to the wisdom that's inside and give birth to a new way of seeing, a new way of thinking, a new way of feeling, allowing us to include the wisdom of the past and also transcend, transform, and expand into the mystery and the awe and the wonder of what wants to unfold for us. So I figured that would probably be a good one. Lisa helped me kind of come in there. I was like, I wonder what we should ask that question of. And she brought that forward. I was like, oh, I really like that. And bringing that in. So I thought it would be fun this go round to kind of do this in like three, like a pick your choose your own adventures, like a pick your card kind of a thing. And so what I'm going to do is draw three different cards and just take a moment right now. There is a three-card spread that's a part of the Oracle that you can do. And the first card kind of anchors in that overall theme of where it is that we uh, would be best to kind of bring our attention to start us, to start the conversation and start to unwind some of our allegiance to the old way of being and open to a new way. And so that anchors us in there. And then the second card kind of drills us into the places that we're going to wrestle with that, get kind of stuck in those tricky traps and those old ways of being, kind of like restrictions and tar pits, so to speak, of the past, so that we can honor them, see the exiled parts of us that are kind of stuck in that no man's land within ourselves, invite that to soften and release. And then the third card allows us to move forward into the what if in a positive way. What if we start to see something differently? So it almost brings in that cosmic point of view, that law of three that says, if you look here and you approach this from a new mindset, a new point of view, what would that start to open you up to? What new possibilities, what new choices, what choices that you already know within you can you now move closer to and start to breathe life into? So that's the three-card spread that goes with this. And I thought it would be fun to pull three cards and then you kind of pick on your side which one is. I'll have to record them all in the same order, but when you're listening back, you can pick and choose. And then throughout the month too, you can sit with it and say, okay, which card now wants to move more into the top position? Which ones are moving into the other? And even drawing another card to support you, maybe with that second card in the reading or so and so, if you have the deck with you. And you can now purchase this. Thanks to the Kickstarter, this is now live. You can get it at our website, shop.unbridledchange.org. It's not for sale through the deck itself. The book is for sale through like Amazon and other publishers. like Bucks a Million and Barnes and Noble and stuff like that. But the deck itself is still only through our website. It's just because I really don't want to give more money to Bezos than I have to. So it's sticking on the side, but eventually it will probably make its way there. But in the first time, I'm just giving it a little bit of love over on that side. So that's where you can find this to do this. My last public service announcement too is if you want to get into more kind of interactions and working with me in this, you can definitely do that. I have what I now am affectionately calling Monday mornings mindfulness and meditation classes, kind of like a yoga class, but for this work, for self work, where you can come in and join us on Monday mornings and work with different themes and topics in 6 week classes, which I love. So you can check that out. I will be sure to make sure that the show notes have that in there and the links for that. And then I also have upcoming starting in May. The cart for that's going to open hopefully next week with our early bird special, where I'm going to be doing deep dive immersions into the different beings that are introduced within this and trauma informed enlightenment, which you can see kind of over there. That's working with that. And our first one will be the body being that we're going to work with in a 4-part workshop that's diving in. So all that fun stuff is over there. That's my public service announcement. Now let's come back to this place of you and this reading for this month. So take a moment and just feel in. First choice, best choice is what I love about intuition. We're not overthinking it. We're just going soft eye and card number 1, card number 2, card number 3. Which one wants to be the lead for you? And write it down, because if you don't write it down or say it out loud, you'll wiggle. You'll start to hear me go through the cards and you'll be like, ooh, what about that one? Ooh. First choice, best choice. What's that header card for you? And then first choice, best choice. What's the second card? 1, 2, or 3 that wants to go into that and a deeper dive, unwinding. Here's a place to look at to really see, sense, and know the parts of you that have been a little bit restricted and or fearful or exiled. And by process of elimination, what is that third card left for you? The card that brings in that cosmic point of view that can bridge the gap between the two and say, if we start to look and feel differently, what would that look like? And what would that be? How would that work? So I'm going to go through and I'm not going to really call them card number 1, card number 2, card number 3. I'm just going to kind of explore them and hey, Wendy, we're diving in to a kind of pick your, choose your own adventure. Card 1, card 2, card 3. You want to take a moment to just feel in. Card 1 is anchoring it. Card 2 is deepening. Card 3 is that space in between of where that is and what will bring us. The question is that we're bringing to the cards is what would be beneficial for us to look at so that we can release that which no longer serves us and open to the renewal and new growth that wants to be with us in this next season. What to release? First, we got to witness, honor, love. And then also, then what would be optimal for me to start to unbridle, take those restraints off and start to allow it to move through us that wants to be renewed. Okay, so card 1. Oops. Every time we get one of these 4, I kind of have like a, but they're the key one. So this is card 38, and it sits in. If you haven't worked with the deck yet, each one has their own little totem, and so that's the little lotus flower is the totem for the heart bean. And I don't know if you've noticed in the deck, if you do have it, this little totem moves around. So it's kind of like a fun little Easter egg that you can find in each little card. So it's something for your mind to look for that could kind of help it calm down and not go oof when it sees the name of the card that goes with it. So this is the burden child. And when this card comes forward, it asks us to lovingly pause and one, recognize that where we're planted means that we're living in an environment that we have to co create with. We're planted in an environment that sometimes has beautiful soil for us and enough room for us to expand and to grow, loving support, nutrients, all the things that we need to do all this beautiful growth and expansion. And then sometimes we're also planted next to beings that are struggling. We have experiences that create kind of an imprint on us. So this is the vine kind of growing in and around, and it's really shifting and changing that trunk of the tree. And the tree in this deck is a symbol for us, the body of us, our physical body, but also the body of our life, experiences that we've gone through. And very often there's a mix of experiences that we have that leave us feeling like we can only work in a certain way. And we all want to walk up to this tree and just like free it, liberate it, like take these vines off and like cut these over here and say, you're free, you can live. And while that is kind of the goal that we're looking for, this card lovingly reminds us when this card comes forward that in addition to helping release these vines, we also need to honor that this tree learned how to live with the vines, meaning it learned how to stabilize itself in that process. We've learned how to live with the different experiences, patterns, belief systems that are within us. And there's a sense of stabilization even in the restriction. So be kind to ourselves as we are looking to release, because like this limb has gotten really used to always being pulled down. You take this away, this limb can now kind of come up and it can start to grow leaves and it can start to feel different. That's going to make this whole entire tree feel different. So when we release one part of us, it's natural for us to have this recoil response that we feel a little shaky, we feel a little overwhelmed, and we don't really know how to move through the world because we haven't experienced that before. What the beautiful thing about this card is once we're willing to look at that and honor that, then we can start to open up to that next piece, which is how do we want to move? How do we want to start to rebuild that? But we want to be kind and compassionate with ourselves because the impact of these vines on us are very real, right? Like they're not something that we're making up in our head. We do need to relearn how to quote walk, how to hold ourselves, how to breathe, how to talk, and open up to new ways of doing. So this card kind of holds both of that in there to pause, to see some of those, to start to working our way through it, but then also really compassionately remember that we had to learn how to work with them. And so when we start to soften them and release them and give birth to the tree that is us underneath this, um, to just be kind to ourselves as we're growing and learning, because it's not as simple as, "Ooh, you're free, go do." There is a moment of kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing. And that brings us into that liminal space in between. We can have compassion and curiosity. We get a little bit further. So that's this card. That would be card number one. Put it wherever in your little deck that came in for you to read. Okay. At the end, I'm going to kind of open it up and then people can share what their responses are if they want. They don't have to, but they can if they want. Okay, so card number two, wherever that landed in your choose your own adventure, is from the fourth, card number four, and it's from the Sacred Witness part of the deck, which is the totem is the little owl, which is the totem for the Sacred Witness on all of it, seeing that wisdom within and being able to um, walk and see in the dark and see in the sides and the aspects of us that have been hidden in a way that brings to see it in multiple different points of view. And so that's what the observe is about, like that we often see things through our trauma goggles. And so when this card comes forward, it reminds us that the way in which we first see, hear, think, respond is usually heavily influenced by, unfortunately, this. That this definitely comes in here and changes all of the different things that are happening within us. And part of the healing journey in the sacred witness and releasing and renewal is allowing ourselves to, one, just lovingly say, wow, I think there's probably a good chance I'm not actually seeing what is. And there's probably a good chance I'm projecting what that is. So if you didn't know you were looking at trees down here, you might be having a whole story of what it is you're looking at. And so, can we honor what it is we think we see, and then can we release it? We can pull on a good old one from the Course of Miracles, which I like to update the language in it because the language is kind of, it's from the 60s. So, but if you pull that one in, one of the very first things that the Course of Miracles is trying to help us work with from a mind management point of view is that the meaning that we assign to something is just that. It's what we have been taught to assign to something. So, can we say this means, quote, nothing? Can I see what my personality wants to put on something? And then can I lovingly say, and that's the conditioning of what I've been taught this means. Can I soften that and say, what else is here? What else is here? And each pass through that we're willing to soften our allegiance through it gets us cleaner and cleaner and cleaner until eventually we get to the place that we're pretty clean. We can see what is, and then we can ask the next beautiful question, which is, what would be helpful for me to see? If we're no longer even trying to guess where we need to look and what something means, we allow that to be given to us. So this card invites us into starting to work on that skill. Okay, that's card number 2. It's a pretty good reading just as it is, but everybody's got their own little order. All right. Card number 3. Well, we got 2 that want to come forward. These ones are going to go together. So whatever you put in that 3 slot, you gotta work with 2. And the gratitude came first, which is the herring, which we've worked with before in the circle, and that's card number 45. And it's working with being able to bridge between the worlds. I can be in, quote, grounded in what is, and I also can be more connected to my intuition. And so the cattails as a flower essence and medicine really bring us into connecting to our spirit, to our intuition, allowing us to have clarity in what we're seeing. No trauma goggles. And then bringing that, grounding what we're seeing and filtering the water that we're standing in. Water as an element brings us into our memory, into our emotions, into the way in which we think, because we might think that we think rationally, cool, neutral, whatever. We do not. Our thinking is all up in our emotional survival body. Our thinking is designed to keep us safe, to have us belong, to allow us to have standing within the community that we're in, where we've been planted. Our thinking is all designed to keep us emotionally safe, sound, and the rational mind is just an illusion. It's not really there. And so the water element really wanted to come forward with the gratitude because it invites us to revisiting the way that we're thinking and allow ourselves to filter that with that beautiful cattail energy and mixing with the energy of heron that's working with it. Okay. So, and also bringing in the soul medicine of joy. So we have the water element again, the play that, our emotional waters don't have to feel like blood, sweat, and tears and grit and like we've climbed a mountain and we're like, just dying by the time we get to the top of it. Like we could start to feel that we have the bandwidth to swim where we need to swim and jump and play at the same time. Both are true. When we need to get down to business, we can do it. This is the anchor card for the deck. It's card number 56, and it wanted to sit at 56. And I love where the soul being wanted to come in, the little triangle with the circle. The law of 3, your soul, yourself, and the divine in that beautiful circle of unity and not hierarchy. It's sitting right there on that horizon, like a ship that's ready to like see and go between the realms, right? And between bringing the heavens down into our private and personal and grounded life. And just allowing that to be in there. So bringing that kind of play and that one, and it really allows us to say it's always present. The dolphins are always swimming, they're always working. They also have what's available to them to jump, to to dance, to be in connection. It's always there. We just don't think it's always there, but joy is always present, even in the rough seas. That might be a moment, but there will also be a place to play, and to be with that. So those are the three cards that are kind of coming through on our releasing and renewal, that we're working with that. And so throughout the month when you're working with that, you can say, well, which one wants to be the lead card? Which one is the place that I need to dive into a little bit more? And which one wants to bring me a new perspective, a new way of thinking that I might not have done before? And you can mix and play with them as you are moving throughout this month. So yeah, I'd love to pause, and if anybody feels comfortable sharing, you can just raise your hand. You can put it in the chat, and Lisa can read which card is kind of coming forward for you for that first slot, and which one might be your personal kind of second, third, or just which one's really calling to you right now. Anybody want to share anything? You don't have to. But I love to give the opportunity for that.
I'll just add, I feel like all of them hit exactly where I feel like I am based on our call yesterday. So very grateful for all that came forward.
There's some good ones.
Yeah, they were.
Thank you for sharing. Anybody else want to share? Or?
My first one was number 2, observe. And then the second one was number 3 with the joy and the gratitude. And then my last one, the cosmic point of view, is number 1, the burden child. And I completely understand that. And I have been feeling more little points of joy, just by observing, looking at things. Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's really kind of like once we start to change this, the medicine starts to work. And even the way we hold this. So like this card sitting in the third spot, because I kind of was thinking that a little bit when I was thinking of the third spot. I'm like, And it's like, can we hold it differently? Can I hold the burden tree within myself differently? Even how I reflect on it when it pops forward, like instead of like, oh, why are you here? Oh, why are you here? Why are you here? Could I like maybe be like, oh, I have an opportunity to bring joy to something. So let me have some gratitude for it that I haven't been able to see before. In my own personal journey, yeah, like my own personal journey with this card is I used to be like, oh man, I thought I already dealt with that, like that burden or whatever. I processed that. I've done that thing. Like, why am I back here again? And I would almost kind of be really harsh on myself. Like, why am I back here again? Why am I doing this? Did I not do it right? I don't know if it doesn't sound familiar to anybody. But then what I finally realized is like, it is a spiral. Healing really is a spiral. And we can only, if we're not going to completely destabilize ourselves with this, we've got to take down a few and then allow ourselves to reorganize to just a new level of freedom that we didn't have before. And then we get to come back again and take down another few. And then more freedom, more integration, more stabilization. We can go deeper and deeper and gain more and more freedom that we never, ever thought was possible, with a strength that we never thought was possible. But we have to kind of do it in a more compassionate, loving way than kind of what I had a tendency to do, which is I'm going to come in there, rip all this out. Maybe like the blend is going to be there and I'm going to be like, oh, been there, done that, and move on to the next one. I had to lovingly slow my roll a little bit. So if this comes in your third position, that might be what it's inviting you to do, is change the way you kind of work with this a little bit more. Would something else pop up in the chat, Lisa? I think something did. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe from Wendy.
Yes, Wendy. Yeah, yes, they all had. Initially, I thought the bottom limb should be pruned. I want to focus on gratitude for the sacred water.
Me too. Wendy, I'm like, shut that sucker off. Like it doesn't have any like thing on it. It's like whatever. Like let's um yeah. Yeah, I have love for that part of you because I would totally do too. In fact, I'd probably be like, let's just cut the whole thing down over and start over. You know, let's just like clip a little baby thing off and start it over in a nice protected way. And while that's tempting, that's not necessarily wholeness. So that might be if this came in the third leg of like, how do we have wholeness, given that this will be a part of us? We will have this experience. And let me flip them over so I can see it. Where is the body being card? Whenever I truly want to find one of these cards, I can't because it's my mind thinking, oh, it would be great to find this card. What's happening? Finding every card but the body being. Okay, all right. There's a body being card in here that is the tree that looks all beautiful. It looks like the tree of life tree is what it's kind of symbolized after. And there was a part of me at one point that thought healing was about cutting down these and replacing it with that tree. Like it was an either or. Either I'm here or I'm in this beautiful tree. And then what I finally figured out, that was a really harsh, protective, perfectionist point of view that was really harmful. I was doing a lot of harm, a lot of self-harm in that process. It's about allowing both to be there. And that when this one comes forward, it wasn't that I was doing something wrong. It was just that this is ready to be freed up a little bit more. And then the next one could come forward and they could do this. And both are there. Does that make sense? So having this gratitude for this when we do feel it and it does come forward, bringing a little gratitude to it, a way to filter it, clean it, see it differently, and then get a little more of this. Does that work? Yeah. I love it. I love it. So does anybody else want to share anything as you are working through? And I'll be excited to see how this unfolds throughout the month, how they jockey around and change, or if somebody ever does draw that body being card. Ooh, that would be exciting. When they're working with it and what's in there. Going once, going twice. That feel pretty good? All right, so then just take a moment and feel in, allowing that medicine of joy to come in. Just breathe it for a moment. And we might not feel safe enough to do the complete jump out of the water, but what would feel a little bit more joyful today? And throughout this weekend, a little bit more joy. No matter what kind of water we find ourselves in. How can we bring a little bit more gratitude? Clean gratitude, not the one that says, oh, I'm grateful that at least it's not this bad, but like, oh, deep bow. I'm grateful for this being here. I might not know what to do with it yet, but I know that it's trying to help me liberate and free up some of those old, just what happened in life so that I can see them differently, see myself differently, and see choices I never knew were possible. Breathe that in, release, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And so it is. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope that this week's reading is helpful, brings you through what can be sometimes a little bit of a tricky weekend if you're listening to this when I'm recording it, because sometimes when we go around family or other things like that, we can get a little overwhelmed with that tree. Bring some gratitude and some love. And remember, we can always have the other one with us and be a part of it. So I hope to see you in all the different spaces, whether that's in the Sacred Witness Circle, where you can share more about that, and one of the different mindful movement classes and meditation classes that I'm doing on Mondays now, or in an upcoming workshop for the body being, which I'll have more information coming out by the end of next week. So stay tuned and look for all the different spaces. of how to sign up for that. And if not, I'll see you in the next one next month as we go into the next one. All right. Thank you all.